Hi Case Grammar School students, welcome to a video regarding the pillar drill. What this video is about is regarding the health and safety of the drill and how to change the drill bit and set up the drill for your use. Of course, this goes with the caveat that all work must be checked before you use it. So you must ask your teacher to check something over before you get going. However, I'm well aware that in a classroom, in a GCSE scenario or A-level scenario, if you can change the drill bit, if you can make sure you know what you're doing with the drill, before detailed teacher or technician support is given, then you're one leg up and one little bit faster within the classroom. Okay, so here's the pillar drill. This is the pillar drill that's in T4. Most of our pillar drills are very similar. The only difference between this one and the other pillar drills is that the bed moves up and down more easily. Always ask for the teacher to raise your beds up and down in T3. And this one also has a small holster on the side here for your chuck key, whereas the other drills have them in a small hook around the right-hand side, which they need to be kept in at all times. So you've come to the pillar drill and you need to set it up. Let's cut to the chase and let's get things working, okay? You should have prepared your piece of work, okay? So you should have put a mark on your piece of work of where you want to drill. You should get a bradawl and mark your piece of work where you want to drill just by pushing down and giving a small twist. This just gives the drill somewhere to pick up and we will find it easier for it to find its center on that mark, okay? You can just see the very small mark that I've made in that work there, okay? So you've come to the drill. The first thing I want you to do if you're going to change the drill bit or get the drill ready for you to use is turn it off at the isolator. At the wall, there is an isolator. They're labeled up so you know which one applies to which, and you can see now that says it's off. That means that at no point can I turn it on by mistake and can I injure myself while setting this up. Essentially, the drill is completely safe now. So anything you do, you can't injure yourself, and you will be able to get it checked over by your teacher before you turn that switch back on, okay? On the drill, you've got a drill chuck guard here, which covers this spinning chuck. That's obviously going to need to be opened for you to get access to the part where you can change over the drill. The chuck key. Chuck key is stored on this side on this machine. T3 is stored on the other side. You take the chuck key and put it into the hole on the side of the chuck. Now, depending on how tight this has been done by the previous person, you're going to need to put some effort in at this stage. But basically, we need to turn this anti-clockwise to undo it, okay? So you can put your palm on the chuck key there, and you can use your finger here on the other side to pull up and push down at the same time. That'll loosen off the key look, and the drill bit is going to fall out really nicely, easily, okay? Put your chuck key back out the way so you don't drop it on the floor or lose it, and return your drill to the right slot in the drill press on the left-hand side there, the drill's support there. Pick out the right size drill. They should be numbered, okay? On occasion, some students might put it back in the wrong place, so you can always double check it. If I want a 3.5mm drill, I'll take a 3.5mm drill, okay? At this point, you can spin the chuck to open or close the chuck up and down. You can see there, that's the drill really small, ready to accept a very small drill bit, and I can spin the chuck open to take a very large drill bit. So if I was changing this for a much larger one, or even a Forstner bit, or a flat drill, I would need to adjust that. Once I've done that, I can put my drill inside of that 3-jaw chuck, okay? So 3-jaw, because there are 3 jaws on the bottom of it, I'm going to put it in there. You need to get it center. If you are to turn that and have it off center, you can see straight away there my drill is moving around like an absolute crazy thing from left to right. It isn't centered on the drill, and you need it to be centered. So to do that, generally, while you're tightening those chucks, you can just spin this chuck here. Again, you're turning it to the right to make it tighter. Just move the drill up and down in the center ever so gently of those 3 jaws there, and you'll find that it automatically centers itself. You can turn it clockwise to give it a little spin just to see that spins center, okay? What you then need to do is take your chuck key again. You can put the key back in there, and this time with your thumb you're pushing on the top, and with your fingers you're pulling on the bottom of the chuck key. So you can put it in vertically like that, pull towards you, push away, and that will tighten up that drill bit. What your teacher will want to do when they come to check this over before they turn it back on is they're going to check that that's tight and correctly in. But just by doing that and getting the right drill in the right place, you've definitely saved yourself time in the classroom. Okay, so you've seen your teacher. They've come over. What they're going to do is they're going to check this. They're going to make sure that's right. They're going to close it up and they can turn the power back on for you so it is ready to go. What you then need to do is think about another couple of things. On the drill, you can see that I've already set it up with a sacrificial piece of timber, okay, onto the drill bit there, so we don't drill into the bed of the machine, okay? Making sure that that's on there will definitely help. You then need to think about the size of the piece of timber that you're working with. If the piece of timber is particularly small, you may need to use a machine vise there to hold that product. If it's particularly large, you might need to clamp it down to the surface or support the product before you drill it. So think about whether you need to clamp it down or whether you need a machine vise to hold it in place. This is actually an interesting size. I say that's kind of between the two. I'm going to get myself a machine press to hold that in place while I drill it. But if I was going to drill something that was particularly soft, let's say I'm drilling some foam, I'm drilling some very light timber, like some balsa or some different types of timber, like a pine, for example, soft materials drill very easily. They don't need much support. We don't necessarily need to clamp absolutely everything down. In the Year 7 projects here, we clamp everything down while you get used to using the drill. But when you bring something to the drill piece, let's say it was around this size, it would be very easy to hold that still and pin that down to the surface while I drill that with my hand. This is obviously a questionable size. Any smaller than this, I would definitely need to think about how I'm going to hold that because I don't want to hurt my fingers while drilling. So let's take a pause and I'll grab myself a machine vise. As if by magic, a machine vise has appeared. So this is my machine vise. I can obviously put this on the surface. I can put my piece of wood inside the machine vise jaws and I can nip that up. Now, I'm not too worried about this piece of timber here, but if you had something which was particularly important to you, a GCSE project or something along those lines, you might want some little sacrificial pieces of wood either side of this so that the metal vise does not indent your piece of wood. So think about how you're going to clamp that down. Okay. With this here now, I've got a nice big handle to be able to hold this still while drilling, while my other hand works on the drill press to be able to move that. Okay. The other thing here is the bed height. The bed might need moving higher or lower to fit this in underneath your drill. To do that in this room, you simply undo the lock at the back there, and just below the drill press, there is a handle to move the drill up and down. You can also move it left to right in case the drill bed is just in your way of clamping something down or holding something in the right way. Okay, that can be then tightened up and we're ready to go. One last thing we need to check is depth. If I need to set the depth on a drill, what I would do is set the drill so it's just over the edge of the piece of work and I can see how far the drill press is going to move down before it stops. In this case, that would go all the way until the chuck is touching the workpiece. Now that might not be what I want. On the drills in T3, we have two little spinning wheels on the side here, and you can set the depth just by spinning the wheel so that it hits the stop and locks. In this room, it's slightly different. We have a spanner just to the side here. There's a small nut here that you can just loosen off and you can set the depth. Let's set it on here, okay? Let's drop it. Let's set it on here. You can set that to a depth here. Let's say I wanted to drill down 30 millimeters from where the drill's resting now. I can set that, I can lock that up. Again, put the spanner back on the side here. And when I'm ready to go, my hair is tied back, my goggles are on, and I have an apron on. I'm ready to work. I can turn my drill on, I can hold this side here. Very carefully, I'm going to slowly introduce it to the work to find that center point there. You might need to get close to the drill at that point, and I can nice and calmly move it down until I hit my stop. When you can see that has hit the stop there, that cannot drill any further because this stop here is stopping it doing so. Leave the drill spinning while you take the drill out of the workpiece and then stop it and you've done the task you set out to do. Always leave the drill spinning when you move it out, otherwise you might find the drill gets stuck into your workpiece. But there are the very basics of setting up and using a pillar drill. The more important thing here for me is in the first half of the video, you understood that if you're going to change a drill bit, it's isolate to make it safe, open the drill guard, use the chuck key to undo your drill, return the drill to the set of drills on the left there, choose the right size drill, set the chuck to hold it, lock the chuck key out, and get your teacher to check it before you turn it back on. As long as you've then worn the PPE and considered how you're going to hold something and setting up the rest of the drill, I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine. Any other further questions, and make sure you ask your teacher.